Family is supposed to be your safety net. The people who are supposed to protect you, fight for you, believe in you. But what happens when the very people who raised you are the ones tearing you apart from the inside out? This is the story of a woman who didn't just survive betrayal, she took it to court. It's a true Reddit saga of lies, manipulation, emotional abuse. And the moment one woman said enough, she sued her own brother. Not just for money, but for the truth. She wanted peace. But her brother wanted power. He twisted their parents against her, painted her as unstable, selfish, cruel. He tried to take what was hers. He almost succeeded, but she had receipts. She had truth. And this is how she turned years of emotional warfare into a public reckoning. This isn't just a revenge story. It's a psychological thriller about family dysfunction, buried secrets, and courtroom justice. So grab your headphones and prepare to witness a woman who refused to be the family scapegoat. One more time. Let's begin. The golden child always wins. I always knew my brother was the favorite. When we were kids, he could do no wrong. He got away with skipping school, stealing money, even sneaking out late. Me. If I forgot to wash the dishes, I got grounded for a week. He was the golden boy. I was the cautionary tale. He grew up entitled, charming, manipulative. My parents defended everything he did, even when it hurt other people. The worst part? I kept trying to earn their love. I worked harder, stayed quiet, played nice. But nothing was ever enough, because he always came first. Things started to boil over after college. I landed a good job, moved out, started building a life, and suddenly, my brother, who'd never worked a day in his life, started asking for favors. Can I borrow money? Can you co-sign this lease? Can I crash on your couch? It never stopped. And when I said no, the family turned on me. He's your brother. They said, he needs Yaoundé. I got a notice from the bank. My credit had tanked. My identity had been used to open 3 credit cards, all maxed out. Guess who did it? And guess who my parents defended? That was the beginning of the end. But I didn't break. Not yet. I reported the fraud, froze my accounts, and started building a case because this wasn't just sibling rivalry anymore. This was theft. This was slander. This was war. And I wasn't going to lose. He thought I would stay silent. When I first told my parents I was pressing charges, their reaction wasn't shock. It was rage. How could you do this to your own brother? They shouted. They didn't ask about the credit cards. They didn't ask about the evidence. They didn't even ask if I was okay. No. Their first concern was you'll destroy this family. No, he already had. I was just the only one willing to admit it. Filing the police report was surreal. I felt like I was signing a declaration of war. And in a way, I was, but the officer took me seriously. He looked at the forged signatures, the statements, the IP logs. This isn't just fraud, he said. This is a pattern. Civil court followed. I hired a lawyer, sent the official notice. And then, the retaliation began. Anonymous emails trashing my reputation, online rumors. My parents telling extended family that I was unstable, mentally ill, attention-seeking. But here's the thing about the truth. It's patient. It waits in the shadows until the lies collapse under their own weight. Discovery and deposition. Day. Discovery was the moment everything shifted. My lawyer requested every digital trace, emails, phone logs, financial statements, even surveillance footage from a gas station where one card was used. We found things I didn't expect. Not just fraud, but planning. He wasn't sloppy. He was calculated. There were emails from my brother to mutual contacts bragging about teaching me a lesson. Voice messages to my mom saying, don't worry, she'll crawl back. But the bombshell. A voice memo he accidentally saved to his cloud drive. A drunken rant where he admitted to everything. My lawyer's face went pale when he played it. This is gold, he said. Then came deposition day. He showed up with swagger. No lawyer. Just smirks and excuses. He called it all a misunderstanding. Said I was exaggerating. Then we played the audio. His face changed. He turned red, then white, then silent. And for the first time, my parents, who were in the room, looked at him like they were seeing him for the first time. He stormed out mid-session. Later that night, my mother called me. She was crying. She said, I didn't know. I didn't want to believe it, but I did because I had lived it, and now the world finally saw it too. Trial, fallout, and the price of justice. The courtroom was cold. Not physically, but emotionally. I sat at the plaintiff's table, fingers clenched around a pen. My brother sat across from me, smug, rehearsed. Accompanied now by a lawyer who looked half awake and barely briefed, the judge reviewed our exhibits. My lawyer stood clear and methodical. The voice memos, the fake accounts, the money trail, the emotional damage, and then came the character witnesses, some friends, some former co-workers. People who had seen my brother's behavior, the manipulation, the lies, the charm that always turned sour when things didn't go his way. But the hardest part was when my parents were called to the stand. They were defensive at first. My mother wept. My father glared, but under cross-examination, their facade cracked. They admitted he had a temper, that they'd overlooked things, that they didn't want to believe the worst. I watched their words crumble under the weight of evidence. For once, the truth wasn't whispered in back rooms, it echoed in the courtroom. After 3 long days, the judge ruled in my favor. I was awarded damages. He was ordered to pay restitution and issue a formal apology. His credit was frozen. His reputation scarred. His golden boy status shattered, but the money wasn't the win. The win was that I was no longer invisible, no longer the problem child. I stood up for myself, and people finally saw the real story. Of course, there was fallout. My parents stopped calling. Extended family picked sides. Holidays became quiet, but for the first time, quiet felt peaceful. I wasn't surviving anymore. I was living life after the storm. It took time to breathe again. Not just physically, but emotionally, mentally, spiritually. After the trial, I didn't jump back into life with fire and fury. I rested. I slept. I let the weight of years slowly slip off my shoulders. I started therapy weekly, then bi-weekly. I relearned what peace actually felt like. Not the absence of noise, but the presence of safety. I got a dog, a rescue mutt named Kilo. He became my emotional anchor. When I couldn't trust people, I trusted him, and slowly, I started reconnecting with the parts of myself I had abandoned. I went back to painting. I joined a book club. I made new friends, people who didn't know my brother, or my parents, or my past, people who knew me, just me, and for once, that was enough. My parents still don't speak to me. My brother tried, months later, to reach out with a shallow apology text. I didn't answer. Forgiveness doesn't mean inviting the same mom back into your life. I forgave for me, not for them. Because healing isn't about reconciliation. It's about reclaiming your story, and that's what I did. To anyone out there who's been made to feel like the villain for standing up to family, you are not the villain. Sometimes, the bravest thing you can do is stop playing the role they wrote for you. Truth doesn't always make you popular, but it sets you free. Thank you for listening to this powerful Reddit revenge story. If it resonated with you, leave a comment, share your own experience, and remember, no one gets to rewrite your story but you. Until next time, stay strong, stay smart, and stay unapologetically you.